Are you ready? Wake up, get great dragon!
Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of the Premium Bandai exclusive or P-Bandai exclusive SHF Kamen Rider Cross-Z. Now this was the Kamen Rider Cross-Z. It's basically like another slightly upgraded form from its original normal Cross-Z, using the Dragon Ball that was used by Kamen Rider Evolved. Now, basically, it's pretty much the same. I'm just gonna say the format or principle is exactly the same with a different color paint job, as far as I can tell. But I personally do not own the original Cross-Z SHF figure because number one, I did not like the original color scheme. Now, I'm not a big fan of flaming paint jobs such as you see on motorcycles or cars, which is why when you first see the Cross-Z in its original form, we have all these flaming paint jobs. This is the converged figure, by the way. So which is why I was not the biggest fan of how it looked. But when I saw in the series where it got another upgraded form in this color scheme, I absolutely loved it. Granted, the flaming paint job color scheme is still around, on the legs where you can see, and still on the left arm. Well, I'm not sure if that should be considered a flaming paint job, but the color scheme is still there. But I really love how they did with the chest area. Also, at the time when I was trying to buy a Kamen Rider Cross-Z figure, I had no options because number one, it was either all sold out or I had to pay $150 plus extra tax. So I did not want to go for that. But when they announced this, I had this website and they were taking pre-orders, and it only costed me $69 or $68. I can't remember, but of course, it's not $69 anymore because once it's already out, the price spikes up. So now it's up to $110 or $120 at this point. So keep that in mind. Alright, so as usual, we're going to go with my typical routine on the components and then articulation and other things I can mention. So I'm going to push this a little bit to the side. Hopefully it doesn't fall down. And let's look at the box. Now, being a Premium Bandai SHF figure, unlike Gunpla, the box is actually colored up, and there's no actually clear plastic to see the inside, but that's all. Now, the promo pics might have confused a lot of people because the only pics that we were able to see were just these kind of poses. But this website that I pre-ordered, and it also mentioned the list of stuff you get, and it mentioned something I did not expect. So these. Now, the one reason I wanted to get the Cross-Z figure was that I just want to see how this turned out. And when I pre-ordered this, I wasn't really sure that the bead closer or closer was going to be included, but it was mentioned on the list, and luckily it was, and I am very happy for that because I've also pre-ordered the Cross-Z Magma, and I do want to pose it with the bead crosser. Of course, I'm not sure if that one actually comes with the with this as well, but if it does, well, even better. So as usual, or well, not as usual, we get the bead crosser and we get the extended handle, so it's to do that pumping action. Now I was kind of hoping that it would actually have a pumping action, but you have to take the end tip off and then reattach this part so you can to make it pose like it's pumping the sword. But I guess that's pretty good enough, because even though even if it was able to extend or not, you're probably gonna use it while it's fully extended. And inside the bead closer, it's actually, you do get another bottle. A full bottle is that you get the nice lock bottle. Now, it's not really detailed, or I mean, it's kind of detailed for its size, but yeah, I wasn't expecting to see this. And this, I mean, even getting the DX version of the lock bottle is very hard and expensive, but yeah, I'm very happy for that. Now, once I took it out, I wasn't really sure how I'm supposed to reattach this, but it turns out you have to push it in from the bottom. And because of how it looks, it's kind of hard to tell which is the bottom side, which is the front and back side of the bottle. So this is how it works. And we have the nice green and red section right over here. On the other side, we don't. It's just pure black. I'm not sure if the DX toy is actually like that. I might need to check some reviews, but yeah. And we do get the small, like, there's even the small button on the handle, but it does not actually push. It's just a plastic molding over there. And the extended handle is also pretty well detailed. The color, the silver, the blue, and the orangish gold or copper color. Yeah, I'm just going to call it copper color. It's very well done. You can see all the small details. So you can see they were very considerate regarding the colors. And other than that, the hands. So yeah, nothing too special or different. So we get, now I was really hoping to have a different style of open hand, like fully open, but once again we get the semi-half open hand, which is okay. Well, it's something I just need to get used to. So we get one set for left and right. We get a hand that's meant to hold weapons, especially for this one, the B-Closser, left and right. And then we get this hand, which I have no idea what it's for, because there's really nothing that you can hold with this, because the thumb is actually attached to the fingers on here, so I have no idea what this is meant for. Like, when you think about it, this wouldn't be the hand for the magma knuckle, because once again, you're gonna have to jam through the hand to put in the handle, but this one's actually closed off. So what is this hand for? I'm not really sure. Alright, so now let's see the articulation. Now, even though I'm pretty sure Bandai is using like some sort of similar statue or figure format regarding this, but sometimes depending on the armor and design, that could be, the articulation can be different. And the only two SHF figures I have reviewed are Cross-Z Charge and Grease, which are basically the similar format riders using the same splash driver. So they have like, so they're kind of similar to each other when it comes to like formality. But this one uses a different driver, and I'm pretty sure it has like a different format. Okay, so let's see what we got. Oh, also we obviously get the great Cross-Z Dragon and then the bottle. Oh yeah, before I actually get into the articulation, I should mention this. Now, the dragon itself is pretty well colored, like it's well done. Like, there's nothing more I can ask them. But the bottle, now I could be, I'm not, unless my memory is wrong. I might remember when Banjo was transforming into this form the first time. The bottle, okay, the original bottle was blue. I remember. But when he started using this bottle, it turned into that goldish color. So shouldn't this be gold? But it's actually blue. So I think this could be an error, or I could be remembering wrong. So I might need to check that out. But once again, it works pretty much the same. You plug it in, close up the head and tail, and boom. And then just reattach it. There we go. Okay, now let's close up and see what we got. Now, reviewing the Cross-Z Charge and Grease, like the whole entire face was like a clear plastic, sort of, not exactly plastic, but the rubberish plastic. So now this is my first time seeing a Kamen Rider SHF with the typical glowing or clear eyes and stuff, like the entire whole face. Now my biggest concern was that I was really hoping that these would not be bent. Like, when you sometimes buy a figure, sometimes there could be some parts that's bent because they're made out of rubber, but this one turned out very nice. So the eyes, the color separation, the color has been very nice, well colored, and the separate black and blue and red, gold, absolutely love that color scheme. So the head articulation can go down that much. That goes down actually pretty well, and then up that much, and then 360 twist. Well, I'm not gonna try, because keep in mind, the inside of this is still a human format. And also the way how the neck joint works, there's actually another move. There's a middle neck joint on there, so yeah, it's not like a simple small plastic ball joint, but a big ass neck joint actually on the bottom. Okay, and now the part that really got me into buying this color scheme. Like, really love that color scheme and how the design is, and we actually get the new Dragon Bottle symbol design on the chest and the shoulder. Now these parts, the front, they do not move. These do not flap. This one actually flaps around. Now, while taking pictures with multiple poses with this figure, the shoulder part did pop out, not break. It did pop out on me a few times, and well, actually once. The inside part, these shoulders actually did pop off multiple times. So yeah, I just need. Seems like I just need to get used to what part moves around. Also, so because of that, you have these parts flapping around. It seems like you can separate the claws if you want to do so. Because of that, you can pull out the shoulders a little bit to increase more movability. So you can go forward and backward a little bit, and then you have a 90-degree bend as usual. And then if I pull out entirely, you can go 90 degrees. But by doing that, the shoulder armor actually pops out and gives out a very um, awkward vibe. So this is how it works. There's basically like a small peg here, and there's a nice hole there. You just need to plug it in. So that's how it works. And then you still have your typical 360 twist on the arm itself, and your hands are your typical ball jointed hands, but not like Gunpla where the ball joint is on the hand. It's actually inside the hand, and the hands are the ones with the holes. And I remember with Cross-Z Charge and Grease, I had a really hard time, swapping hands. Seems like they fixed that because I'm having way more easier time doing that at this point. And so because being a ball joint, the hands can rotate 360. Okay, so now let's look at the back section. The back section, very well done. Nothing much to like talk about this, but man, I really love this like color combination. So with that, the body does have a nice ab crunch. So I'm assuming that the middle section here is actually holding. Well, no, there's no actually middle section. So there's this body section, and on top of that we have the chest section. That's why we have a nice ab crunch bend going on here. And then we have the belt. Now, being a belt, it's actually just wobbly, so you can definitely feel that it's actually like just on here as a belt. And just in case, for those who are curious, no, you cannot attach the bottles onto the belt. I've tried that; it does not actually slide in, lock in. It's just not. It doesn't work that way. And the build driver handle does spin around. Very nice touch. Also these white spikes, I don't know, they kind of feel like off place, or the color not so great, because while the blue, all the colors are like kind of has that metallic color, this white part is just white, like that, like egg white. Okay, in the waist section, let's see what we got. Well, not waist, but let's look at the leg section. So, you can bend about 15 or 20 degrees to the side for each body, but doesn't really move that much. So keep that in mind. And then the legs can go. Wait 1 second. Okay, it's kind of stiff on mine, but it can almost go 90 degrees to the front. It has a nice not double joint, but it does go more than 90 degrees when you bend it. And the knee section, which actually is familiar because I've built the Figure Right standard molecule of Kamen Rider Build, and we still have the same knees. And you have a nice side swivel, although it doesn't spin 360, but a really good amount for most poses. And then about less than 90 degrees to the side. And then when we look at the feet, we have a nice feet. I wouldn't say this is ball jointed, but it can spin 360 if you want to do so. It has a nice pivot joint left and right, and then forward and backward. And then the end toe can also bend, although this one came out very stiff, so like I'm hearing clicking noise. So yeah. And I believe SHF don't actually have holes on the crotch area or on the back area. You need like a special stand to connect them. Okay, now we've seen like the basics now. We've seen the articulation. Now let's look at the equipment. So the B-Closser, I already showed the lock bottle. Now the way how you hold it is using the hand that's meant for it. So let's see, not this hand. Let's see, I think it's this one. Yeah. So now I could just jam it in, but I found it a little bit more easier if I just take off the end tip and then I just slide this part in. It works a little bit more easier than you think. And then yeah, you have the connection. And there you go. So way more easier than jamming in like how we do in like Robot Damashi figures. I'm not saying Robot Damashi's figures are not great. They're very nice. If you haven't tried one, please try one, especially the Ver anime. So once again, it sort of holds out pretty well, and I have tried doing a double hand pose, and it is possible, but it usually ends up being like doing the knight pose. But the real champion pose is that you get one open hand. Now I don't think you should use a grabbing hand, and then this actually does help a lot. Having the pump action version of the end tip. Plug it in. Now the peg might be a little bit fragile, so just be a little bit careful. And then, yep, there goes the shoulder. And then there you go. You have it. You make it look like it's pumping. It's a beat closer. So for me, who has reviewed mostly the Splash Driver Riders. Now having a SHF figure that actually has a weapon that it holds around like a sword instead of like the twin breaker, which attaches to the arm most likely. Of course, it still holds with the hand. This was a very nice experience, and I am very, very pumped up to wait and see how the Cross-Z Magma turns out. Anyway, so for those who pre-ordered this, should have no problem. But if you want to have a Cross-Z figure in any format, this is your second chance. Yeah, so if you didn't like the color scheme, you might like this one. So keep that in mind. Anyway, thanks for watching the review. This was the review of the Kamen Rider Cross-Z, Great Cross-Z figure. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. Until then, see you guys next time.